Sir, what is your suggestion for improving the financial status of Archakas?
There is a twofold solution for this problem. The first one is society, the public at large, they must have a feeling that it is their responsibility to see to it that these Archakas are kept in their job by adequate remuneration. They must be more liberal in their offerings. They must not be very calculative or economical in throwing coins on the brass plate. I think they are too menial. They can be a little more liberal. That is one solution. The second one is more important than the first one. The second one is in the hands of the Archakas themselves. They must realize that from time immemorial, down the years, Archakas were never affluent. Temple Archakas were given only limited wealth, both by God and by kings. Of course, they had the basic necessities, but they were not very affluent. And they lived only with limited wealth. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when I love a person, what do? I don't give him much money. He says, Tasya vittam harami aham. If he is over-moneyed, I take away the money, because too much of money makes a man worldly. So when a man must be stuck to certain norms of religion, he should have only limited wealth. And this was understood by Archakas well. So they boldly accepted poverty. If at all they were poor, they didn't mind it, because they have chosen that life. In the previous births, they have seen enough money. After many births, they have been promoted to the rank of an Archaka, because after this birth, they are going to be taken up to the world of that particular deity for whom they are working now. It's a very fortunate birth. So they were aware that it was quite a part of life to have limited wealth. We find in Ramayana, in the chapter of Yatra Dana, there was a Brahmin who made his living by picking up rice from paddy fields. And that was the way of living for Brahmins, and they didn't think shameful of it. And that enriched their spiritual stature. Poverty does not mean famine. They were given enough requirements to carry on with their basic needs. I am reminded of one Bhattacharya in Chidambaram. I am talking of a period, say almost 25 years back. Then getting a daughter married was not an easy thing. Nowadays there is a great demand for girls, so the position has changed. But I am talking of a period when getting a girl married to a proper bridegroom was a tough thing. This particular Bhattacharya, who was working in Chidambaram Govindaraja Perumal temple, he had too many daughters. This Bhattacharya himself was my friend, and I used to wonder how this poor man is going to get all his daughters settled. Whenever I asked him about it, he would say, Lord Govindaraja will do it. And after some period, I had to shift my residence from Porto Novo. I came to Pondicherry, so I could not meet him in the interim period. After a long gap of time, I met him. The first question I asked him was, how about your daughters? How are they? He said, all of them are married and well settled. I asked him, how? With the poor income you are getting, how could you manage to do it? He said, I have a book having Sahasranama Stotras. In the morning, I read out the Vishnu Sahasranamam in the main sanctum sanctorum. In the afternoon, I go to the Sanctum Sanctorum of Goddess Mahalakshmi, I read out her Sahasranama. In the evening, I go to the Sannidhi of Sri Chakratalvar, that is Sudarsana. I read out his Sahasranama. This is what I was doing. And what happened was, miraculously enough, I got fitting bridegrooms and money came to me. That much of money which is needed. And all the marriages are settled. And this is the way of living my father taught to me. And my ancestors managed their problems only this way. I was very much impressed. Only an Archaka can say that. And I will cite you many more instances. You know, the minister of Akbar Badshah was Birbal, a Hindu. To him, a Hindu Brahmin came from Karnataka, requesting him to give pressure to Akbar Badshah so that he will offer him donations. But Birbal said, you see, you are a Brahmin, you have been initiated to Gayatri. If you keep chanting it, you will get enough money, man. Why do you come to a Muslim for help? Please go and do as he said. He took the advice. He went back to Karnataka. He kept chanting Gayatri. And miraculously enough, he got enough money. So much money that he met with all his basic expenses. And with the remaining money, he built a canal for public benefit. Even today, it is called a Canadian Canal. And that's a living example. Then, what do you think about this Adi Sankaracharya singing Kanakadhara Stotra? Whom did he help by that? She was a poor Brahmin lady. Poverty was so pinching that she had only a dry gooseberry to give to Sankaracharya. Touched by that, Sankaracharya sang this Kanakadhara Stotra and the rain of gold poured. There also we see poverty among Brahmins. Then come to Vedanta Desika, one poor Brahmin came to him for monetary help. He wanted to get married. And he sang to Goddess Mahalakshmi, there was a rain of gold. Coming to an outer circle, you see, Vivekananda, before going to America, was hard pressed for money. Many times he did not know where his next meal would come from. And I am referring to one such occasion. He was in Bombay then. He had not taken his night supper the previous day. That very particular day also he had no breakfast. He was very hungry. He was lying down on the platform of a railway station. In the railway station there was a temple for Sri Ramachandra. He went to the temple. He raised his arms above his head. He said in a loud tone, Lord Rama, I am hungry. Saying these 3 words, he went round the Rama's temple several times till his legs became tired. When he became tired, he came back. He lay down on the railway bench. 30 minutes passed. He heard a voice very nearby, some masculine voice. That man called him, Swamiji, Swamiji, please wake up. He opened his eyes. That man said, you see, I own a grocery shop just opposite to this railway station. I was dozing off. I was in off sleep because no customer was there. In that off sleeping mood, I got a dream. Lord Rama appeared before me. He showed me your physical figure. He said, this man is starving in this railway station. Go and give the food which you are sparing for your lunch. Here I have brought my tiffin carrier with 4 sections. It's full of food, chapatis and sabji. Please have it. Vivekananda could not believe himself. Then he had his food. And he has written in his biography, such occasions repeated many times in his life. What does this show? Is this way of living open only to people like Vivekananda, why not to Archaka, a temple Archaka? You see, there should be some adamant faith in the deity we believe in. You would have heard about this Chidambaram Dikshitas, the Saivite devotees who were devoted to the service of Lord Shiva. And it is a time-honored story that it seems whenever a particular Dikshita was appointed for the service of the Lord, he would place a copper plate, a thin copper plate at the feet of Lord Nataraja. He would serve him for 1 month or so. When his varam is over, he would see that that particular copper plate had turned out to be gold. He will take it and use it for his expenses till he joins duty again after 6 months. And that is how Dikshitas were leading their life. They never went to human help. And these are all things which we have to learn as lessons. An Archaka must never run away from poverty. If he runs away from poverty, God will run away from him. There is a basic question. The deity whom he is serving, whether it is Ambal or Ganapati or Subramanya or Vishnu or Lord Shiva. Basic question is whether it is a deity or a simple stone. Is it reality or illusion? If he believes that it is a reality, that deity must be in a position to help him with monetary needs. If his faith is thick and adamant, he will definitely get. That's how the ancestors of today's Archakas pulled down their life. They were holy men. When that is so, how can we accept the lame excuse that a girl does not want to marry an Archaka because there is poverty in the temple? If the girl is really devoted to the Vedic thinking, she must not say that word. So, all Archakas must think of this twice. And I don't think financial pressure will be a right cause for running away from temple duty.